This is a disgrace. This is Frankfurt, Germany, New Year's Eve. Look at the demographics. It's basically becoming a colony of Africa. What boggles my mind is people are scared to look at videos like this, see the changes happening, and say anything about it. God forbid you look at this and say, wait a minute, this isn't Germany. This doesn't resemble what I think of when I think of Germany. Are we going in the right direction? It has to be reversed. And all that needs to happen is people need to be brave enough to say, this isn't good. We need to change it. That's all people need to do. If we got to a stage where people were brave enough, just in your personal life, you don't have to go on camera. You don't have to say it to the world. All you have to do is be able to say it in your personal life to whoever is around. There's too many coming in. You have to send them home. Everyone did that, things would change. Just everyone's so scared. Europeans, white people, terrified. God forbid you're seen as racist. This is
unbelievable. Welcome to the JG Carrell Show. I love that guy's videos. Michael McCarthy had a guy I used to work with named Michael McCarthy. This guy is this gentleman. You go to his X channel and you watch. He's from Ireland. He's watching the death of Europe happen. That's Germany. I've been in Germany. I've been in Germany during Christmas time. You walk around, it's magical. You've been to Bavaria, Germany, to Berlin, to Munich. It's gorgeous. It was gorgeous. Blonde hair, blue eyes, blonde hair, green eyes. Aryan, beautiful, clean, organized. Everything has a purpose. The food is maybe okay. The people they don't laugh, but they're great people. Did you see any Germans in that picture? This was New Year's Eve, I believe. Did you see any women in that picture? Maybe that's a bigger question. One of the big questions to ask is, you left your piece of crap nation to come to another country because of it's war torn and it's difficult and I'm afraid, but you left your wife and your kids and your sisters and your mother. Do you see it's all a lie? This is called a global reset. Why is everyone from the third world migrating into white Western nations? Outside of Hungary, Poland, and Russia, name me another white nation that is now taking in their death, that are digesting cancer. New Zealand, Australia, Canada, all Western Europe, UK, United States of America. Do you think this is just happening because, do you think, like I'm showing that video of this, look, I'm going to show you again, these people. Let me just see if I can get you an idea. This is in Europe and all the nations. Tens of millions of them. Do you see any old people? That's another question I want you to ask. Do you see any old people? Do you? Come on. Answer me. Do you see any old people? No, you don't see any old people. You see single, adult, military-age men that are now conquering Europe. Mike McCarthy's from Ireland. He shows pictures of Ireland, videos from Ireland. In 2024, 94% of all new births were to foreigners. Who were those foreigners? Well, almost 100% were people from the Middle East and Africa. 6% of the population of probably 7 million people in Ireland, 6% were Irish babies. They're done. It's over. Unless they purge their country. As Andrew Branca said, I played yesterday, there's going to be a racial genocide in your country. You just have to make the decision. Is it your race that's going to be genocide, or is it their race that's going to be genocide? And here's the sick, sad part. There is a significant percentage of white, Black, and Hispanics for America, for example, but mainly just all white people in Europe that want to disappear. They have a self-loathing, a self-hatred of themselves. They have been conditioned, propagandized, lied to, and because they're mentally weak, they accept the fact that the reality is white people are bad. White people subjugate everyone. White people, the only reason we're wealthy is because we subjugated the people of color. And that's simply a lie. And what's the remedy for, quote, our sins? Well, the remedy for those sins is to allow everyone to come in and take everything that we built. All of the women that are clapping it and yelling like seals in New York City from Mandami, all the white liberals in Europe that are saying, I want all those men in. The moment that they have the majority, the moment that they can have the dominant force over white men, they're going to rape you into submission. You are going to be screaming at the top of your lungs as you're raped every single day of your life for help. And there's going to be no one left. You allowed them to kill us off. This is happening in Europe, all over Europe. Sweden, 99.9% white. Not 200 years ago, like within the last 25 years. They're in the 70% now, with everyone else being from Middle East and Africa. What's happening in Sweden right now? What is their claim to fame? It used to be beautiful, tall, blonde, white women with green or blue eyes, very attractive. No one's obese over there. Everyone is gorgeous. It's all the Nordic look. No. They're not known for that anymore. They're known as the rape capital of Europe. Isn't that so? As you enter into Sweden, as you fly or you leave the airport or you drive in, and the sign says, "Welcome to Sweden, the rape capital of Europe." We're so damn proud of that. You are going Europe and America. You're going to have to make a decision. Are you going to allow your race to be ethnically cleansed, or are you going to cleanse your nation of all these other races and cultures and ethnicities? It's that simple. It's just that simple. I'm going to play you this lady. Think about what I just said about the Nordic women. And this is exactly what the Nordic women look like that I'm talking about. I have no way to pronounce her last name. She is a rising star. I'm going to bring her up on the screen. She is a rising star. Her name is Ava. And I'm going to, just so you know how I cannot say her name, listen to how long this name is. I'm going to spell it for you. VAVLAARDINGERBROEK. Valadingerbrook. Maybe. Hell, I don't know. Listen to what she says. And tell me if she's not spot on.
Let's take Amsterdam, the capital. Amsterdam currently consists of 56% migrants. The Hague, 58% migrants. Rotterdam, almost 60% migrants. And of course, most of these immigrants come from non-Christian, non-Western, African and Middle Eastern countries. Conclusion, the Dutch population is already outnumbered in the majority of our cities. But let's look onwards. London, 54% migrants. Again, conclusion, native population outnumbered. Brussels, color me shocked, 70% migrants. Conclusion, native population majorly outnumbered. And other Europeans will, of course, follow suit soon if they haven't already. So I'm going to draw the forbidden conclusion here. The Great Replacement theory is no longer a theory, it's reality. And what's interesting about replacement is that the establishment will either deny its existence, or when they admit to it, they say that it's a good thing that the native European population is soon no longer a majority on its own continent. Dutch national disgrace and dubbed climate pope Frans Timmermans already stated in 2015 that diversity is humanity's destiny and that Europe will be diverse. And of course, by now, I think we all know what they mean with the word diversity. It means less white people, less of you. Imagine this in an Asian or an African country. Imagine their leaders rejoicing in the fact that their people will soon no longer be a majority in their own country. Absolutely unthinkable, unimaginable. So what in the world is wrong with our leaders?
Yeah, what's wrong with our leaders? What's wrong with our leaders? In 1924 to 1965, we had a net immigration process, meaning a net migration of legal immigrants. Prior to 1924 and up to 1965, we immigrated people that look like this. Exactly like this lady. Or if you had brown hair, she is from Italy. Or if she had blonde hair, or maybe some brown hair, she is from Germany, Spain, maybe a little darker skin, Irishman with the red hair. No. Now, because of Ted Kennedy and the Hart-Celler Act in 1965, that is the genesis of the destruction of the United States of America when it comes to demographic destruction. Ted Kennedy sat on the Senate floor, all young age of him, before he starts raping and killing women, sexually assaulting women. He states, and I'm almost going to be able to quote him, but I'll paraphrase. There will be no demographic upheaval. The third world will not pour into America and change our demographics. There will be no people marching and protesting in the streets. Everything will remain as it does. And that was a lie. From 1965 to present day, we turned off the spigot of people that look like this: beautiful, intelligent, kind, shares the same God, shares the same cultural norms of civility, empathy, politeness, kindness, strength, determination. And then we brought in savages. That to savages. People from the continent of Africa, in the Middle East, in Latin America, from 1965 to present, to now we have a standing army of 50 million people in America. The vast majority of them are illiterate in their own language, cannot speak, write, or understand in English, cannot speak, write, or understand their native tongue. The vast majority of them that we brought over in the 50 million are below the IQ level of retarded individuals. They come from places that have grass huts. The idea of actually having a second story is like us finding a spacesuit and shooting ourselves to Mars. I've been to Africa. In order to get water to bathe, to drink, to wash, you have to go down to the town square and stand in line and fill up your bucket. The roads are dirt, so when it rains, no one can drive. We're not talking about really nice Mercedes, and we're talking about rickshaws. We have imported a disease into America under the guise of diversity. And Miss Ava said it perfectly. When they mean diversity, that is a front for less white people. I am never going to apologize for being white. I'm never going to apologize that our country was founded by white Christians. I'm not going to apologize that over 90+% of the population of the United States for over 200 years has been white. And when I mean a majority, I'm talking in the 90s to high 90 percentile. And just recently, we saw the deterioration of that demographic. And as Miss Ava said, I wonder if you went to Asia and you went to China and Japan and you went to Russia and you went to the Middle East and all the Kyrgyzstans and Iran and Iraq, and you said to them, I'm going to flood your nation with white Christians. Not your smartest. I'm not sending you my doctors and attorneys. I'm going to send you the lowest level of white people that we can get our hands on. I mean, I'm going to empty all of my jails. Every white person that's been abusing social welfare, that have historically been underachievers intellectually, thieves, robbers, and I'm going to send them to your country. And I'm going to send so many of them that we're going to upend all of your demographics. You will become the minority in your country. We will destroy your cultural norms, your societal norms and agreed upon culture. We're going to destroy it all. We're going to turn it into a southern trailer park. Do you think they would take that? Do you honestly? We don't have to theorize. We can look at Japan today. Their new, I guess it's a prime minister, female, has more courage and more balls than any of our politicians, sans Trump, and said, no more. Everyone's out. Get out right now. Everyone out. What was the genesis that caused it? Do you know what spurred the Japanese to get all of the third world out of their country? It was the trash. They couldn't take it. They couldn't take the trash anymore. Europe is dying. Some of the countries are dead. If they want it back, it's going to be bloody. I showed you the video of just Germany on New Year's Eve. I could have showed you France. Could have showed you the UK. I could have showed you the Netherlands, Belgium, Denmark, Sweden. They're dead. If they want their country back, they're not going to move those Middle Eastern, African, single adult military-aged men out without a fight. They're not leaving. Why? Why? When they can rape this woman and women like her. Because there's no men with any courage is going to step up. Why? When they can rape her and then you're going to pay me money. You're going to pay my rent. You're going to buy my food. You're going to medicate me when I need to be medicated. You're going to give me spending cash. I don't need to do anything. Why would I leave? And the answer is I'm not going to leave. You're going to have to make me. And then it's going to be just a simple question of how badly do you love your country. And the same thing is with America. There's nothing different going on. America is just a few years behind Europe, but we have accelerated because we brought in so many people the last 4 years under Biden. Our problem, or one of the major problems that we have, is the importation of third world savages that are Muslim. I'm going to show you Megyn Kelly. Isn't it interesting? I have to show you. Isn't it amazing that I have to show you one of the leaders in Europe trying to protect the European way of life and white European women is a white woman, a little tiny white woman weighing about 120 pounds. Now I'm going to show you Megyn Kelly. Now Megyn Kelly, beautiful, intelligent white woman. She's about 105 pounds. What is she going to do? What is she going to do? The answer is she's going to do nothing. But she has the courage to say the truth. There are enough men in America to take our country back, but it's not a lot of us. And another but, history proves we don't need millions, tens of millions of men like us. We just need a handful. Let's listen to Megyn Kelly.
And the Muslims, let's be honest, they're breeding like rabbits. That's like part of their mission, is to have kids, have tons of kids, have 6, 7, 8 kids, and win by multiplication. So Christians need to start having babies. Sorry, but we do. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm sorry, but no more Muslims. We're done. Our values are not aligned. They're just not. I have Muslim friends. It's nothing against them. Their individual, friendships are fine. They as individuals are fine. But Islam is not consistent with the values of America, of the West. They should stay in countries that don't care about keeping church and state separated. They should stay in countries that don't care about protecting free speech. They should stay in countries that don't care about women's rights. That's where Islam can fester and grow. It's great. I mean, I'm sure if that's like your thing and you don't care about like genital mutilation, you might really enjoy living in an Islamic country. If you don't mind living in a life as a woman where you have to keep every inch of your body except for your eyeballs covered, yeah, it's someplace in the Middle East could be for you. It's not my thing. It's not America's thing. And it's not a thing that we should want or encourage in the West. And it's definitely not a thing we should encourage at our governmental level. And the Muslims...
She's right. Little Megyn Kelly's right. And I'll say, I'm not saying that in any way to diminish her. I'm just saying that woman, that very intelligent, beautiful, strong, Christian, Catholic wife woman, she can't fight the hordes of Muslims. She can't fight against the savages that we brought in from the third world. And that's not her place. Her place is not on the battlefield, the physical battlefield. That's our place. Third world savages are killing our children, our women, our men. The third world savages are raping our children and our women. The third world savages are taking all of our resources. And what do we, as the American men, do? Nothing. Nothing. As long as our little bubble doesn't get popped, and then the invasion can't get in. But the invasion's here, and it's growing. Just like Megyn Kelly says, the Muslims are reproducing like rabbits. Why is that? Because that's their duty, and that is their game plan. They will outbreed us, just like Miss Ava said, in the Netherlands, in Denmark, in Belgium, and on and on and on. They're reproducing at a rate that is unbelievable. and they will demographically dominate. We allowed in and have allowed in and continue to allow to stay in our country tens of millions of single adult military-age men from the continent of Africa and the Middle East. And they are going to dominate our population. And who's going to win that war? On paper, if I said, who's going to win a battle between a 25-year-old Middle Eastern man from the Kyrgyzstans or from the third world slums of Africa or our barista at the local Starbucks or one of the local young men that think he's a woman and is trying to figure out where to place the tampon? Who wins? They win, of course. The only hope America has are men like me. And there are enough of men like me that will slaughter all of the people. We are close to that. I don't care how I sound. I've never cared. I know that I'm different. I was telling my wife, had this conversation the other day. I'm just different. And I don't even, before I took the time for me to embrace it. It really did. Just like any young man growing up, trying to find who you are, what you believe in, what you should you say, what shouldn't you say, how do you say it? I'm so beyond that. I have made that decision decades ago that this is who I am, and I don't care. I like who I am. Am I flawed? Yeah, I'm flawed. Am I right all the time? No. But I'm right about this. And I'm unafraid. I'm patriotic. I'm God-fearing, and I have courage. I have courage. So I'm just going to continue to say what is the truth. And when it comes to immigration, when it comes to demographics, when it comes to crime and division and corruption in our government and the complete destruction of our country, I'm not going to stay silent. I'm going to speak exactly how I feel, what I believe, and what I know to be the truth. Not some subjective, not some my truth, just the effing truth. I'm going to show another lady. Isn't that amazing? I have to keep showing another lady. And where the F are the men? I'm going to show you this woman. And she's spot on, man. She's spot on. And I want you to hear her anger, because her anger is righteous. And it's what we all feel. And if the politicians don't get on board, we're going to remove you. And it's going to be ugly. Listen to this lady.
Do you remember when they tried to gaslight me and say I was crazy for taking razor wire to the border to keep all of these people out of the country? There's different kind of terrorists. There's people that blow up buildings. There's people that shoot people. There's people that rip us off for billions of dollars. The Somali culture especially. They're the ones being highlighted. I could go on and on, but let's just stick to the Somalis. If you listen to the words that are coming out of their mouth, Ilhan Omar literally says the U.S. government will bend the knee to and do the will of the Somali people. Get the fuck out of America. Go fuck yourself. Do I need to take a trip to Minnesota? I think maybe I will go directly there, right to whatever piece of shit Capitol building they have, and I will gaslight them. I will ask them hard questions. Fuck you. I'm sick of this. We let 10 million people in. That's the ones we know about. 10 million of them. And everybody tried to say, well, they're here for asylum. No, they're not. They're here for free shit. They're here so you can go to work for them. We are stupid. And you know what the worst part is? We're too fucking soft. We wait for our leaders to do everything. In case you haven't noticed, they're not in the mood to do anything, are they? They're in the mood to keep their stupid job of pandering and doing fundraising. That is all they're good at. They're fucking garbage, our leaders. The mayor, one of the mayors in Minnesota, wearing a hijab, saying she's so happy to be in the community. Fuck you. Happy to be in that community? You look like you're in a freaking hostage video.
She's right. She's right about everything. Absolutely Everything. And you know why I'm sitting here and I'm thinking as I'm watching her, I'm like, man, you know what? I didn't do this purposely. I didn't pick all women, but it seems to be more and more women are speaking out. And it just struck me as I'm watching this because I know Kate. I've met her once or twice. Very strong woman. I think she's a former Marine. Obviously very attractive. Powerful, determined. She's in the fight in multiple ways. But it struck me as I'm watching her. As I'm playing, I'm going to play another woman that is attractive. Have you ever noticed that? Just a side note. Isn't it amazing that the conservative women are all attractive? Like attractive. Some are smoking hot. Some are wow. She make my head turn. And some are just, wow, she's attractive. You don't think that way about leftists. They're grotesque. And even the ones that are like movie stars, because they're all leftist lunatics. But the moment you stop looking at them and you listen to them, they become less attractive, don't they? To the point where you're like, I don't even care if somebody show me a picture naked. I don't want to see it. I find them they're repulsive because of their beliefs. But I'm watching Kate speak. I'm watching Megyn Kelly, and I'm watching Ava, and it struck me. Why do I have all women, or why is all women showing up in my feeds and I'm seeing it? Well, it's because they have the most to lose. The men will be killed if we lose. The men will be killed, subjugated, hauled off somewhere, but most likely killed. The women will live a life of absolute misery and suffering. They will be raped ad nauseum, forced into marriages, forced to bear children of savages, and forced to be subjugated to wear burqas. They will be in hell. That's why we're hearing more women. That's why they're more passionate. Well, if I gave you a choice right now, I'm going to kill you, or the next 50 years, you are going to be a slave and I'm going to rape and brutalize you for 50 years before we kill you. Which one are you going to choose? Here's another woman, Carolyn Philippine, Phippen. And she's talking about the rage that we feel for our politicians. Let's listen to her.
Someone want to explain what is going on in Washington, D.C.? Video on Somali daycare fraud gets over 100 million views in a few days over the Christmas holiday, and Congress decides giving a few more $1 billion of your money to NGOs to facilitate and subsidize more foreigners is a good idea. The Senate is asking for $5.6 billion more dollars for refugees, and the House wants $4.3 billion for the same refugee scams posing as compassion with your money. I'm just not sure any of this can even be solved at the federal level anymore. It feels like they are all hopelessly clueless to the discontent and rage that have been slowly simmering in this country and will soon boil over if Congress does not very quickly reestablish their legitimacy as a governing force and start working for the American people. Read a little history, guys, and then wake the heck up.
They're not going to wake the heck up. And she's absolutely correct. What she's talking about is there's a bill that the House and the Senate, they're going to reconcile, and they're going to give about $5 billion plus to more, not to the refugees that are here, the illegal alien savages. We're going to import more savages into America. That's where we're at, America. You have no representation. That meme that we all see that our founders would have already been stacking bodies, they would have already stacked all the bodies. The steps of our Capitol would be stained in blood. They would have been hanging people, shooting people. But those were men. We are enlightened. We believe that our great-grandparents, our great-parent, and our grandparents and our parents, they were foolish. They weren't as enlightened as us. Well, actually, they turned out to be extremely enlightened, extremely filled with common sense and decency. Who is the group of people, the generational people that are immoral, degenerates, sexually perverse, morally bankrupt, not anchored or tied to anything that is in God's natural order? That would be us. That would be the current populations of the United States of America. And should it be a shock to us or to Miss Caroline that our government, our leaders, are not a simple reflection of who we are? You would just think there would be a percentage, a significant percentage of us, people that represent us, and they're not. Who are you going to trust? You're going to trust John Thune? John Thune hasn't done or said anything in 30 years in Congress, in the House, the Senate. Speaker Johnson's claim to fame now is that just biblically, we owe Israel everything. The man that prayed on the House floor, literally got on his knees and prayed in the House floor. And if you're a Christian, you know God appalls that. He's appalled. Do not stage and create a spectacle in my name. It's better, and I want you to go into a closet, into a room in silence, and you pray to me there. The women that I've shown you, and the women that watch my show, and I know there are a lot of women, I understand your fear. I have 4 sisters. One's in heaven. I have a mother. She's in heaven. I have a wife that I love. I have nieces, beautiful nieces, like good Christian, physically, emotionally, spiritually, intellectually beautiful. And the idea that I would in any way allow savages to even get within 100 yards of them. See, my brother's an alpha like me. My sister's married alphas. I would take my brother-in-laws and my brother, and I would say, I would feel very confident building a compound when things go bad. Ain't nobody coming near us. You always see in the movies, or you hear, or you read about history, there's just a small group of men, and no one ever messed with them. Why? Because they were beyond violent. Not because that's what they wanted to be, it's because that's what the world made them be. And I know there's millions of men like me that are ready to do just that. We are sitting on a powder keg in the United States of America. A powder keg. As I played last week, I believe it was, a comment from an interview from a British politician, but he's like an outsider rising up, been in, I believe, the special forces in the army, the military in the UK. And he said the same thing. We are one rape away. We are one call from our leaders, his leaders, aka militias, to just give us the green light, and we're going to war in UK. We're that close, people. I want you to be prepared. I want you to be prepared. I want you to be prepared for life. But when I'm speaking in a survival mode. That's how I think. You don't have to think like me. That's fine. But I want you to go, and I want you to shop at the sponsors that support me. Not everybody wants to support. Not everybody wants their name attached to my show. And a lot of people do want their name attached to my show, but I don't like their product. But I love the product from sat123.com. Sat phones, generators, Starlight connection for internet. And what I use it for, Sat 123, I have all that. I have generator, I have a Starlink system, I have sat phones, but the thing that I have as my son's going back to school tomorrow is a ballistic backpack. They saw a need, they saw something that was happening in America, and that is the lunatics, mainly LGBTQ lunatics, going into our schools and shooting our children. And they said, someone has to do something. So they went in and found Special Forces guy, thinks of several Navy SEALs in San Diego, and they developed a backpack. Now, you may think, oh, that backpack must look ridiculous. No, it looks like a normal black backpack. You have no idea. Nobody in my son's school would have any idea, except he tells them, hey, I got a ballistic backpack. It doesn't weigh 700 pounds. You don't even feel the difference. And I will say this, as a father that has a teenage son, that his backpack by month 7 of like a 10-month school year, it's hanging on by a thread. I'm just like, oh, please hang on. I don't want to go spend $200 on another backpack. Please. This one's going on his 2nd school year. We're at 1.5. So 1.5 school years. Looks brand new. It looks brand new. My son he's not just I'll get something destroyed, have no appreciation. He's not that, but he's a teenage boy. Sports stuff in there, cleats, socks, extra clothes, water bottles breaking, Gatorade bottles destroyed, soda, chips, banging into walls. It looks brand new. There's no tears in it. There's no thing falling apart in it. My wife has it. I have it. And my son, ballistic backpack. I can't say enough good things about Sat 123. Go to sat123.com/JJ. And here's the kicker of all kickers. When you call them, there'll be an American answer the phone. You're not going to punch 17 numbers. Just an American voice is going to be on the other end, and they're going to take care of you. Sat123.com/JJ. Nothing happened this weekend. No, it was a boring. God, it was a boring weekend, right? Nothing to see here. Nothing to see, except we bombed Venezuela. Just bombed Venezuela. Nothing big. We don't really need to really talk about it, right? It's no big deal. Except it is a big deal. I have a different take on this than other people. I mean, I'm going to probably talk about this tomorrow more in depth. Some people believe, and rightfully so, and I've seen I've seen their arguments about Israel being involved, and I believe that's true. But we dive down that tomorrow. We talk about that tomorrow. I'll talk about Donald Trump going after them and Maduro. This is where all the theft of multitude of elections across the globe, but more specifically one that we care about, the 2020 election that was stolen, was run out of Venezuela. That has already been proven. So what's going to happen? Is he going to flip Maduro? Maduro's going to put pressure on him. He's going to ask for some concessions, some like you have to be sent to some island to live out the rest of your life. I don't know. In return for giving us all the goods on everybody. I don't know if I believe that, to be quite honest with you, because we have enough evidence right now. Everyone, the Clintons, the Bidens, the Obamas, they should all be in jail, but they're not. But they're not. What's my take? I have a different take. Maybe Israel's involved. Maybe Trump has an alternative motive with the election. Maybe it's about drugs and the poison. Maybe it's all about all of that stuff. Maybe it's all encompassed. Could be. Don't have all the data to tell you yes or no all the way. But I do have this. I have massive amounts of respect for Donald Trump. Because what Donald Trump has been able to do in a violent world where America was not respected, was not feared. We had a nation that was mocked, taken advantage of, because we are run by cowards and traitors. We don't have a coward or traitor in the White House right now. We have the alpha male, not a alpha male. We have the alpha male of the world is our president. Name me, if you don't agree with, name me one man in the world that has the power, the influence, the prestige, and the mindset of to be the alpha in the world. President Trump is the alpha, and he has brought and demanded and forced the other nations to all bend a knee and show respect, and they are all fearful. Because what he displayed again, he went to Iran, don't have to like it. I don't really like it that much either, but he went to Iran, bombed them, blew them to smithereens, and flew their planes home, and no one even knew it was us until we told them. Donald Trump goes in to Venezuela, Blackhawks, bomb the crap out of it, pull Maduro and his wife out, perp walk them, going to be in front of the judge. That's power. That's an alpha. Are you telling me the president of Colombia, the Cuban leader, all of the third world dictator from the shithole countries across the planet, you think their ass isn't puckered up right now? You really believe that? They call it the Don Doctrine instead of the Monroe Doctrine, the Donroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine says whatever happens in our hemisphere, we own it and we will control it. We have not controlled it or owned it in decades. We now have an alpha that is owning it. We are the biggest, the strongest, the most violent, the most aggressive nation on planet Earth, or within our hemisphere, at least right now. And yet the whole planet and our hemisphere has acted as if we were an impotent, gutless bastard. And they were right. But not anymore. Watch this video with Marco Rubio. And before I show Rubio, who the hell is this guy? Honestly, who the hell did an alien come down and jump into this big-eared, small feet guy? Honestly, I love this version. I hope he can stay this way. I call this the Trump effect. Before I play this, let me just say, this is the Trump effect. This is what happens when your father, let me make it very personal. I'll pull this out. I'll just make it personal. This is what happens when you have a father, a strong father, and he has expectations of his children. I'm not saying Donald Trump is the father of Rubio, but he is. He is. He is a father. The Donald Trump's a father figure. You don't have to like him or not. A great president is a father figure, period. And this is a father-son relationship. I want you to think of it in that relationship, in that context. I had an alpha father, 6'4", 275 pounds, all muscle, incredible man. My father, John Carrell, was an incredible man. But there was no doubt who was in charge. He didn't beat his chest. He didn't say a bunch of crazy stuff. You just knew. Can you point out the guy in the room that's in charge? Do I really have to? It's that guy. Same thing with Donald Trump. My father had expectations of me and my brother and my sisters, but me and my brother more specifically, because we are his boys, a different responsibility. We absolutely knew what was expected. And that's what's happening now between Donald Trump and Marco Rubio, Donald Trump and his cabinet, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. He's leading it. He's telling his children, this is my expectation. This is not negotiable. You are going to begin to fulfill my expectations. And you're going to act a certain way. And thus, we get Marco Rubio, or should I say, the new Marco Rubio.
Don't let anybody claim it. Nobody deserves it but us.
But I want to be clear about one thing. Nicolas Maduro had multiple opportunities to avoid this. He was provided multiple very, very, very generous offers and chose instead to act like a wild man, chose instead to play around. And the result is what we saw tonight. The other message here is the following. You have a guy, like many people around the world, they like to play games. You have a guy who decides he's going to invite Iran into his country, is going to, do the confiscation of American oil companies, is going to flood our country with gang members, is going to take Americans prisoner and try to hold them for hostage and trade them like he was able to do with the Biden administration. Basically likes to play games all this time and thinks nothing's going to happen. And I hope what people now understand is that we have a president. The 47th president of the United States is not a game player. When he tells you that he's going to do something, when tells you he's going to address a problem, he means it. He actions it. I can tell you, I've watched this process now for 14, 15 years, been around it. Everybody talks. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. When I get there, we're going to do this. We're going to take. This is a president of action. Like, I don't understand yet how they haven't figured this out. And now, if you don't know, now you know. Because this is the way it's going to play out. And I think people need to understand that this is not a president that just talks and does letters and press conferences. And, if he says he's serious about something, he means it. And this is something that was a direct threat to the national interest of the United States. And the president addressed it. There's a president of peace, by the way. I told you what I just said earlier. This guy had multiple opportunities to find his way somewhere else and figure out another. He could have been living somewhere else right now, very happy. But instead, he wanted to play big boy. And so now, he's got other sets of problems on his hands. And but I think that the message here should be for the world. Look, the president doesn't go out looking for people to pick fights with. He's not generally wants to get along with everybody. We'll talk and meet with anybody, but don't play games. Don't play games with this president's in office, because it's not going to turn out well. And so I hope that, I guess that lesson was learned last night, and we hope it'll be instructive moving.
Yep. That message was relayed that you're going to mess with Donald Trump, he's going to make you pay. And I'm going to show you when I say he's going to make you pay. Listen to what he says and tell me you don't love this. Tell me you don't love being led by a man like this. Go ahead. Try to convince me you don't.
Mr. President, it has been reported that Maduro offered everything in his country, all the natural resources. He even recorded a message to you in English recently, offering mediation. What should we do in order to stop that?
He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to fuck around with the United States. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
You know what? Let's hear that again, because this is important.
He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to fuck around with the United States. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
We need to hear it one more time.
He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to fuck around with the United States.
That is what I want from my leader. That's what I want from my leader. That's what I want from my leader. Period. Absolutely, period. Isn't it refreshing? What would Biden do? This was at night, so Biden would already be asleep with pudding stains on his shirt. Not this man. You want to fuck around? Well, you're going to fucking find out. Don't like the language? I don't care. This is the age where everything is going to be in your face, vile and violent. Sorry, you allowed this to come in. We all allowed this to happen into America. Now it's here. Now we're going to deal with it. Sometimes when I need a nap after doing these shows, because I'm like, I got to get a break because I'm about to lose my mind. I lay down on my bed, in my sheets, or on top of my bedding, and I always have a my pillow. Always. Look, if you come in my wife's side of the bed, there's about 20 pillows. I need two. My son's got his 17 on his bed and all over his sofa downstairs. Again, a product that I swear by, that I use every single day of my life. MyPillow.com. Use my promo code JJ. Mike Lindell is an American hero, period. Another company that makes products in America by Americans for Americans. Go to MyPillow.com, promo code JJ. MyPillow.com, promo code JJ. Now, this guy, if you watch me, I'm going to put him on the stage. If you watch my show at all lately, this is the guy that I when he comes on, I listen to him. He has a great way. He talks about what I talk about, but in a different way. So it gives me a different perspective, if you will. And he is a Trump supporter. He is someone that wants an alpha, but we also want something done. And we're imploring. We're not begging. We're imploring, and now we're demanding change happens in America right now.
Where is Make America Great Again? Where is America First? Where is actual action in defense of our nation rather than social media posts? I don't care anymore. We've had a year of social media posts. Where are the mass deportations? Where are the lines of zip-tied third world migrants being loaded onto cargo flights and returned to Africa and India? And I'm not talking just about illegal migrants. We'll get to that in the members only show, what the solution is to this, to saving our nation. Why aren't these Somalians being subjected to 3 a.m. armed raids? Why aren't Democrat politicians who facilitate and protect these people being subject to 3 a.m. armed raids by the FBI in front of their wives and children? Why can't the same tender mercies that the Biden administration extended to American citizen protesters and even to Trump himself, why are these not being extended to people who are acting with treason to our nation?
He's absolutely correct. Go to @TheBranca Show, TheBranca Show. Love that guy, but he's right. And you can feel it, right? You can feel his anger and his resentment, his demands. But he also, you have this feeling I share with him, the same kind of feeling as I watch him and men like him speak and hear my voice when I'm speaking about it. The reason why you hear this, it comes off as anger, right? And there is a component of what we're talking about is filled with anger, and there's some resentment. I'm not denying that, but it's an exasperation. Maybe that's the term I want to use. We're exasperated. We're looking at the alpha in the world, the alpha male that can actually do it. Donald Trump. He's not railing. He's not angry at the Senate and the House because we have no expectation of those people. We do not expect people like Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, John Thune, Speaker Johnson, all the other litany of speakers, Jim Jordan, Trey Gowdy, all those the lineage of stupidity and cowardness. We don't care. We have no expectation from you people. In fact, our expectations are so low that we know that we're going to be disappointed no matter what happens. But not with you, Mr. President. With you, we see salvation. We see a chance, an opportunity to correct all the wrongs. That's why you hear this passion towards you, our demands. It's not out of disrespect. If anything, Mr. President, if you watch this or somebody clips it, it is because we respect you so much, because we have such high expectations from the alpha male, like a son looking to his dad, a dad that is accomplished, that's powerful, that demands and earns the respect. We look at you because we have immense amount of expectations from you, our father, my dad. The country's looking to you, Mr. President. We're looking to you because you are the father of our country right now, and we're demanding your guidance, and we're demanding that you take our country back. And we want it now.